Okay, fam. We're going to talk about some stuff today. I have some notes. I don't know how much of it I'm going to get through, to be honest, because I like to just speak kind of frankly and off the top of my head about my own experience. But I did make some notes because I wanted to talk a little bit about what 2025 revealed about metastatic breast cancer for me and some lessons that I learned about metastatic breast cancer in 2025 and what I'm going to be doing differently in 2026. And after years of speaking with oncologists, after years of being on treatment, after years of enduring tests and procedures and diagnoses and all of the side projects that inevitably go along with metastatic breast cancer, and I've been watching healthcare shift because I'm inside of it. So I've been watching it shift as I've been experiencing things change. The way that my oncology team approaches me and the way that new people are joining the ranks of the healthcare teams and bringing their level of expertise to help make our healthcare system flow better. I don't know that they're hitting that on the nose quite yet, but I've definitely noticed some shifts. And I think that I can see that their intentions are to provide better healthcare. Don't know if that's actually being accomplished, but it's shifting. I'm watching disease management shift, and certain things stood out to me more than others. Let me know if you've noticed some of these things too. So, turning my disease into a hustle, that's not what I'm doing here. Content creation. Yeah, I am creating content regarding breast cancer. Being a sick influencer, not what I am. Not wanting to be a peephole, right? Only coming on here when I feel like I have something important to say, right? So here I am. The biggest lessons I learned in 2025 by being a metastatic breast cancer patient, we're going to get into it. I actually made a list, like I said. As a woman, as a mother, as a wife, I just want to talk about what I've learned. What were some of the new ideas, revelations, big takeaways from this year? I know that I've gone through many changes as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, and a human. And I want to talk about some of the things that I've learned. Because not only will some of these things surprise you, but they may reshape your goals and your direction going into 2026. Hello, my name is Leanne, and you know, I'm your metastatic breast cancer bestie. What were the big lessons for you this year? What course did your disease take in 2025? What were the things that really propelled me forward, you forward into the next 12 months? What were the things that supported your growth? What were the things that supported my growth as an individual? What were the things that really held me back? Or maybe things that I would probably not do again. What were some of the things that held you back and that you would probably not do again? What were the things that you would do differently if you had to start all over? What are the things that I would do differently if I had to start all over? Or if I'm trying to figure out what matters and what doesn't. So it took me a while to narrow these things down, but I think that these things are going to be really helpful no matter where you are and where you're standing, either personally with metastatic breast cancer or as a caregiver or as a friend or family member to somebody who has metastatic breast cancer or cancer of any kind or illness of any kind that requires full-time management and will lessen the quality of life that you're leading and shorten your lifespan. So if you've been thinking about what shape life could be taking for you with breast cancer, with scheduling life around the full-time job of disease management, and maybe you've been thinking of it from a systems perspective like I have, and maybe that's what some of us need in order to reduce the noise, right? And get on with our other identities besides, and beyond being the sick patient, right? So the number one lesson that I'm taking into 2026 is that disease management is king or queen. You're gonna win if you stay on top of your calendar. Write everything down, dates, times, the prep in the days before some of these important dates and times. Keep a running list of questions for your oncologist. Notice the pattern. What is the pattern for you? Is it every 3 months that you scan? Is it every 3 months that you review? Is it every 3 months that you do labs? Is it every 3 months that you lose your mind? What keeps you in the driver's seat? Right? As much as you can be with cancer. Not everyone has the same skill level with staying organized, but with some focused planning, it sure beats scrambling every 3 months to figure out what's next. Okay? So everyone has a pen and a calendar. The better you stay organized, the less you stress about what's next. The number 2 lesson I'm bringing into 2026 is that cancer patients we are more educated. We are more treatment savvy. We Google or use ChatGPT. We do. It's a tool. It's in our tool stack. It's there. Don't let anyone tell you it's garbage. It's not garbage if you know how to use it, if you're using it appropriately. It's a tool. It's in your stack. Your oncologists are using it. The healthcare system is using artificial intelligence. Why wouldn't you? ChatGPT is not the enemy. So we Google and we use ChatGPT to read and interpret our results and reports. Yes, we do. No, they're not going to get it wrong. Because what you're going to do from that is develop your line of questions and write them down and go and see your oncologist for your review. And that's when you get the course correction that you need. Either you learned something wrong on ChatGPT and your oncologist will correct you, or you learned something right and you asked a good question and you got sent down a different path that you never would have known existed unless you'd asked. Remember that. Your oncologist is not everything. You are a part of the team. In fact, you are 50% of the team. If you were a 50% stakeholder in a business that was really successful, that was bringing in a lot of money every year, 50% of a lot of money every year can make someone very wealthy. So if you are 50% of your cancer team, then that means you are 50% of the knowledge base. You are 50%, you're 100% of the experience base. Your oncologist might have the historical data saved on 1,000 patients, but you are 100% of one person in those thousands of people that they are being the oncologist for. So we're more educated, we use Google, we interpret our labs, we read our reports using artificial intelligence, and we develop a base of questions that we then ask on follow-up with our oncologists. And in some cases, we are more skeptical now about treatment plans that the professionals are recommending for us. In some cases, we're skeptical of the technologies that are tried and true, that are still being used. And then we are skeptical of the contrast between the old treatments and the new ones, and the old data and the new data that's coming in, okay? So we're not always blindly taking our oncologist's word for it before we inform ourselves. You think your oncologist is telling you everything? Not likely. It's not about being smarter than your oncologist either. It's about being better partners with your oncologist. Okay? Your oncologist is your partner. You are actually the team lead. For example, during a period of disease progression that I experienced recently, I had to suggest a directional pivot. I had to suggest a directional pivot for my oncologist, not the other way around. So be ready to make decisions and be ready to ask for more time to make a proper decision for yourself. We don't have to accept vague details and breadcrumbs anymore. We can stay away from that trust me language that some doctors, even oncologists, yes, will use. None of that anymore. We're past that. We've outgrown that. We're partners now in our healthcare. This is not, let me wait and see what my oncologist tells me to do. No, you'll die waiting. Be in the driver's seat as much as you can. Tell me what is, please, as my oncologist, tell me what is. And as a patient, as somebody managing a disease, I want to deal in the reality. I want to deal in the what is. I don't always want to be sold a bill of goods for the hope for the future, when in reality, right now, I'm dealing with something that feels far different and looks far different and deserves the respect of the what is right now, not filtered through a lens of what could be in the future in terms of hope. Sometimes we have to have reality smack us right in the face, and that means our oncologists have to have reality smack them in the face too. They have to be willing to talk turkey with us as patients and tell us the real skinny, the real. We've outgrown not being told what's going on with our bodies, especially as women. Okay. We know more as patients now, and don't be ashamed because of it. Don't be ashamed. Don't dumb yourself down. Don't go into your oncologist's appointment knowing that they're called oncologists and dumb it down and say, oh, my cancer doctor, hi. Don't do that. Use the word oncology. If you have a condition called pleural effusion, don't say, oh, I have, that fluid that's around my lungs. No, they know what you mean when you say pleural effusion. And if anyone's giving you grief for knowing what that means as a patient and saying pleural effusion instead of 10 other more simple words so that you can prove to your doctor that you're just a layperson and not trying to compete with them. Anyways, I'll move on. More knowledge is only going to help you, not hurt you. Being a content creator, okay? I think this is lesson number 3 that I learned. We're already at 13 minutes. Oh my God. But lesson number 3, being a content creator has helped me come to terms with my disease. Yes, it has. I'm proud of the work that we do in this community, in the breast cancer community, on this platform. I think a lot of people appreciate the visibility and the transparency. And I'm here to tell you, it has only helped me. I'm considering even doing a live broadcast very, very soon. Haha. Creating content and sharing what I know and putting my face out there has made a difference in my life. It's been a great source of support. You all have been a great source of support. There are faceless options too, writing a blog, keeping an online journal that can give you a stronger sense of support you might be needing. And I know that I was needing that. And I know that I haven't always had enough of a catch net, had a wide enough catch net. I live in a small town. I live away from my family. I live away from friends. And it hasn't been easy asking for support. It hasn't been easy coming to terms with my illness identity and all the different shapes that takes, okay? Don't be afraid to create content and go online and be transparent and be public and be forward-facing to strangers and ask for support. Listen, the day and age where we put small talk down and say, small talk be damned, let me tell you, dear people, dear boys and girls, small talk has saved my life. There used to be a time where I considered myself a small talk survivor, and there was a movement amongst my friends that small talk was going to be the death of us all. Well, I'm here to tell you that small talk has actually given me life. It's those little 30-second conversations in the grocery line checkout where I ask, hey, how's your day been? And that person who I don't even know will ask me in earnest, how's yours? And oftentimes, that's more than even our closest family members might offer us in an entire year. Okay, let me get back to my notes. Number 4 lesson that I've learned and lesson that I learned in 2025 and something that I'll be taking into 2026 with me is that time is the bottleneck. So learning faster is better than learning more. Okay? So hear me out. All right? So if you can't get your learning down to 1 or 2 trusted sources beyond your oncology team, then maybe it's that you look at studies from the National Institute of Health strictly, and you opt out of some of the other platforms, social media platforms like Facebook groups or Reddit, where sometimes the noise from the crowd can be a lot less helpful and feel a lot less supportive, and it doesn't make your learning any faster, okay? So learning faster is better than learning more, because if you can get your learning down to 1 or 2 trusted sources, then you can be better prepared to have important conversations with your care team and with yourself and with your family, and with your friends. So I personally trust the National Institute of Health, and I will look at medical studies and medical journals over and above what some glossy private hospital in the US will produce. They'll produce some glossy video or glossy patient forward facing literature or brochure style education, and it's quite often breadcrumbs. It's quite often just high level, and it's not giving you a good flavor for what's really going on in our lives and what to expect if you are a newly diagnosed breast cancer bestie, and you want to get back to living your life and get back to the routine and allow the cancer of it all to fall into the background, right? That's the goal, is to be forward with our life and being successful with life as we define it, not successful with cancer. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so if you can get your learning system down to maybe a day of fact-finding and a day of brain work where you allow yourself to worry and contemplate, and then a day of rest and recovery before you revisit your daily life, you could start living sooner. During those scary intervals where something changes, disease progression happens, your medicine stops working, something new pops up, a side condition pops up, cancer decides to start a side hustle on you, and you suddenly have to divest your time from something over here and reinvest your time over here and take on a new specialist and take on a new care team. And listen, if you are worrying more but your learning is slow because of avoidance or whatever maladaptive coping we've been using, then you have things that are off balance. So if you can master learning faster, then you can regulate faster and get back to living and being connected to your life faster. And isn't that what we want back from cancer? I think so. I think that's what we want back from cancer, is the ability to live our lives again, and get back from these little side trips that cancer takes us on, get back to the path of going towards life and the light, right? Okay, decision fatigue, it happens, and we're all faced with it in this world of illness. I had my big mastectomy surgery, as you are all aware, back in the day, 2021, I think it was, or 2022. It's 2026 now. But the months leading up to, like, through biopsy and through pathology and then through to booking my mastectomy and all of that, I had all this time on my hands and yet didn't have the right decisions in front of me. The morning of my surgery, 2 doctors were going to be operating on me, a plastic surgeon and an oncology surgeon. So one of them was going to be responsible for making sure that all the breast tissue was removed. And then the other one was going to be working in tangent for handed surgery. So in tangent to reconstruct. So both of them came into my room in the moments before I was wheeled off for anesthesia and asked me some questions that did have incredibly huge gravitational pull in the course of my recovery, in the course of my disease. They asked me things like, do you want to keep your nipples? Where do you want your incisions? Are you kidding me? Decision paralysis is a real thing. Decision fatigue is a real thing. And this falls under the time umbrella because, you guys, I had like 3 months where I didn't even know I had to make these decisions. If I had had those 3 days where I could have contemplated, done the brain work, done the recovery of re-regulating to a normal mental state, then I could have had the best decision for me. I could have made the best decision for me, rather. So you need to have a strong learning and acceptance and self-regulating system, and you cannot rely on your oncology team or even your therapist for any of that. None of it. It's on you. And you need a strong system for staying organized with appointments, tests, procedures, medications, prescription refills, labs, learning. What and where are my resources? You'll need help with this. You'll need support. Trust me, you will. All right, the number 5 lesson that I'm taking into 2026, tools aren't optional anymore. We have access to our electronic medical records 24/7. We often receive test results before our doctors do. And if we're careful and discerning, we can use artificial intelligence and a tool stack to interpret results and formulate questions and enter a treatment plan in partnership with our oncologists instead of from a place of not knowing or understanding what's available to us. Having a solid workflow. Like, this is systems thinking in terms of disease management. Having a solid workflow. What comes first in my day? What medicine do I take first? And when? And how? And when do I eat after that? Before that? What do I eat? What do I avoid? Can I eat? What is my weekly schedule? What's expected of me monthly? What labs do I have? What are my scan intervals? What are my visit intervals? Most of these things are not optional if you want to operate at a high level. If you want to give yourself the best life potential, you need to invest some time into learning and into learning some of the tools that can help you. I know there are many people who are on the side of not wanting to know. I don't want to know. There are people that I'm in the waiting room at the cancer center waiting for my appointment to get my meds injected. And there's people, and I'll be like, oh, you're here for your shot. And they're like, I don't know. You don't know? No, I don't know. I'm here because my oncologist told me to be here. And I don't even know what it is they give me. Okay. Have fun with that. I mean, I'm super envious of that on the one hand. On the other hand, that scares the bejesus out of me because that's just not my style. But more power to you. But for me and for a lot of us out there, we need to know. We're not okay with breadcrumbs. We're not okay with being kept in the dark. We're not okay with being told the bare minimum by our oncologists. We get these test results before they do. We want to know, are we in a good interval or are we in a disease progression interval? Has first-line treatment failed? Has second-line treatment failed? Are there any treatment options out there for me to pivot to next? And if there aren't, are there any clinical trials? So that leads me to another point here. Your oncologist is not going to tell you about clinical trials. Don't leave it up to them. Don't trust that they know your history, that they remember who you are. Just because they greet you with a hug and say, oh, Leanne, oh, doesn't mean they know who you are. So my point is, to those people who don't want to know what medicine they're on, what their treatment plan is, or what their future looks like, to those I say, be well and take good care, dear boys and girls, okay? But for most of us, we know how driving without guardrails goes. Off-road and into oncoming traffic. You cannot be scattered. You cannot be fragmented. And if you are, you will burn out. Burning out on cancer management before actual cancer, it's a very real thing. Systematizing and making cancer management the most boring aspect of your life will give you the freedom to live again. Let me say that one more time. Systematizing and making cancer management the most boring aspect of your life will give you the freedom to live again. The less you know about your disease and what your next 3 months looks like, the more worried and stressed you are. The less you will be free to live whatever life you have left. You need a strong process and a solid system because you do not need cancer managing you. You need to manage cancer. So, number 6, mindset shows up in disease management. It's a frustrating reality that oncologists will normalize disease progression. Your oncologist knows that you're terminally ill, knows that you're not going to be cured, knows that your lifespan will be shortened, does not know what your next 3 months will look like. They do not know if you will survive the year. They don't. And you can go from looking healthy and looking like you're thriving to actually being someone who's actually not healthy and not thriving and may not live the next 3 months. That is how sneaky and tricky cancer is. Disease mindset shows up in disease management, okay? So what you find scary, your oncologist may not even bat an eyelash over. That's not a coincidence. Oncologists for terminally ill patients, they do research, they manage the flow of patients, they review scan reports, they summarize them back to patients, they refill prescriptions, they meet with a team of doctors like a tumor board regularly to go over all of their patients at a high level, and then they zoom in on the ones who have higher needs, more complex needs for that week. Okay? They may not get around to you for a whole year. They may see you every 3 months, but they may not get around to you at a granular level for like a long time. That's up to you, okay? So docs regularly, at a high level, they order scans, they order labs, they book follow-up appointments, okay? They have a very rote, standardized set of procedures that they are following daily, weekly, monthly. They have systematized management of you. So why haven't you systematized management of your cancer? Okay? Oncologists do not always tell the truth. Nope. They will lie right to your face about important things, not about fluffy things. No, they'll lie about serious things. They'll say things like, yeah, I ordered your referral to cardiology, and they may have lied. Not kidding. I guarantee you'll be considered for clinical trials, but you may need to ask. Oncologists do not guarantee you a spot in a clinical trial. They'll talk to you about, oh yeah, when your medicine stops working, there will be another one. Science will catch up. Every 2 years, a new drug gets released. Oh, okay, fine. In a clinical trial. But what if your doctor is not telling you about clinical trials in your area? That happened to me. I had to ask and then beg, and then more on that in another video. Pay attention. Oncologists do not always pay attention to abnormal test results. No. So when you get your notification in your MyChart that you've had an abnormal, I don't know, say calcium reading, take appropriate action. Write that down on your list of questions that you're going to be bringing up to your oncologist in your next appointment, because there's no guarantee they're going to bring it up to you. And that might leave you a year later struggling to figure out why you have involuntary muscle movements in your face that you can't control because you have a side hustle. Your cancer has decided to take on a side hustle that your oncologist ignored for a year. It can happen. We're at a half an hour now, folks. But listen, I haven't given you guys an update in a long time. So you're getting the update that you wanted. Here it is, okay? Oncologists do not always act ethically. No, they don't. And also, you can ask to fire your oncologist. You can fire your oncologist. Yes, you can. Ask me how. More on that in another video. Oncologists do not always support you emotionally. They do not always know your socioeconomic status. They may assume. They may not offer you treatment options that have out-of-pocket costs because they may have their nose all up in your bank account and think, oh, this person can't afford that, therefore I won't offer it. Stay out of my bank account. Offer me whatever is available. Even if it costs me $1 million, maybe I'll mortgage my frickin' kidneys, okay? Maybe I'll sell my kidneys to survive another year. Did that ever occur to you? Right. Oncologists do not always remember your history. Oh, you had a bunch of radiation when you were 17 and you can't have radiation treatment to make your disease go away? Oh, right. Oh, I should have asked. Okay, I don't know. That's long enough, you guys. I've gone through like 20 pages of notes. I've given you a bunch of lessons that I'm taking into 2026. I want to hear what yours are. What are the lessons that you have learned that you're taking into the next 12 months? And where are you getting your information? What tools are you using? What support do you have? Where are you finding it? Is it from your family? Is it from your doctor? Did you fire your oncologist? Are you on a clinical trial? Did you have to ask for it? Did you have disease progression? Did you have to figure out what direction to pivot in because your doctor wasn't coming to you with any ideas? Put your comments below. I can't wait to hear from all of you. It's been a minute. I love this community. I really do. I love all of you. I hope you're all doing well. I just want to say, oh, here comes Harlow. Here comes Harlow to say hello. Hi. On a sad note, I just want to say rest in peace to Samantha Lynn and my condolences to her family because I learned that she passed away. Whew. Recently, and she was a big source of support for me in this community, and I know you guys all probably know her too, and I don't want to end this on a sad note, but you know, it's hard to deal with loss in this community. Anyways, love you all. Talk to you soon in the next video. Bye.